Alright, what's going on everybody? My name is Monster and welcome to our NCL Week 2 battle against our friend Jed. Um, this is a really good game. As you can see, he brought Salazzle, which I expected to come, Mega Pidgeot, which I also expected to come, Aerodactyl, which I didn't really think was going to come, uh, Excadrill, which I pretty much figured was going to come, Primarina, which I absolutely knew was going to come, and then Serena, which I also didn't think was going to come because I have stuff like Arcanine and Cure. But yeah, things to note about his team is that he only has one ground type, so that makes predicting my moves with Raikou a lot easier. Uh, I actually, because he only has one ground type, I was fully comfortable in straight up leading Raikou here because no matter what he led with, I was going to get really good damage off on something. Things to note about this match though was that I had to change Raikou's nature before the game started because I had realized that Raikou had to be shiny and have Rash nature in order to run Aura Sphere. Luckily, I figured that out before the match started. Yeah, so Raikou is a bit slower, but it hits a bit harder now. And yeah, so we're just going to get right into it. He leads Aerodactyl, so right off the bat, I pretty much assume that this is like Suicide lead Aerodactyl. And in my calcs, I could not leave an Earthquake from this thing. So I know he's going to go for Rocks, but I have to switch just in case he decides to change it up on me. So he goes for Rocks, I go into Alomomola. And then he switches into Serena on the next turn when I go for a Scald because it was just my best play. My best switching into Serena is either Amoonguss or Arcanine. I would have switched into Arcanine, but I didn't want to take a drop kick and get my attack lowered, so I went into Amoonguss as he just U-turns. So good play on his part for the momentum, and he goes into Mega Pidgeot. I have no switch-ins to Mega Pidgeot outside of Raikou, so I go into Raikou here. Yeah, so he's going to Mega Evolve and go for Hurricane here. That Hurricane does a bit more damage than I would have liked it to because I'm a negative special defensive nature because of Rash. Yeah, so he's threatened out here, and I actually go for a read. Everything on his team takes a lot of damage from a Thunderbolt, so I pretty much figure that he has to go into Excadrill here if he doesn't want to take a lot of damage on something from a Thunderbolt. So I go straight for the Aura Sphere. And I almost knocked out Excadrill. I don't know. That was probably a damage roll. I don't actually know. It was definitely close. Either it was a damage roll or it did 99% at the max. So I switched into Alomomola, which is my dedicated switch into Excadrill as he goes into Serena again. And again, I can't stay into this thing, so I go into Arcanine. And he actually goes for knockoff here, which is really bad for my Arcanine. I kind of lose a switch in into Mega Pidgeot now that my Soul Vest is gone, which really sucks. So he immediately switches into Excadrill. I go for a read and go for Wild Charge, thinking that he was going to switch into Primarina on my Flare Blitz, and then I just extreme speed the Excadrill down. So now Raikou is totally free to spam Thunderbolts, and Kyurem is now free to spam Fusion Bolt if I need to. So he goes into Pidgeot again as I go into Alomomola because I really don't have a switch into a Hurricane. He does a lot of damage with that Hurricane. I just sack Alomomola here because its usefulness was diminished after Excadrill went down. I didn't really need Alomomola anymore. So now that Excadrill is dead, I go straight into Kyurem and I click Fusion Bolt because it just does a lot of damage to his team. I should have went for Ice Beam, to be honest. I should have known that Serena was his best switch into that, and I should have just went straight for the Ice Beam. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't. Now I go into Amoonguss because, again, I really don't have a good switch into a knockoff or drop kick, as he just goes for knockoff and then U-turn, and then he goes straight into Pidgeot. I go for Sludge Bomb just to get damage off on Serena, and I get the poison on Pidgeot. This actually ended up mattering a little bit for later, I think. I'm not sure. I have to go into Arcanine. I choose to sack Arcanine here because Arcanine is like the least useful member of my team at this point because its main job was to like bait the Primarina into thinking that he could kill me with a Scald, and then kill him with Wild Charge. But now that I'm at 24% and my Assault Vest is no longer here, I just straight up sacked Arcanine because, I mean, he just wasn't very useful. This actually ends up biting me in the butt a little bit later into the match, which really sucks. So I go into Swallow here because it outspeeds Mega Pidgeot and it hits his entire team like a truck. So, yeah, I go into Pidgeot, or I go into Swallow as I go for Boom Burst and I do so much damage to Primarina. Yeah, and then I go for Boom Burst again because even if he was Scarf, he couldn't outspeed me. And then he goes into Mega Aerodactyl. That play right there, I should have Boom Bursted Aerodactyl, and you'll see why. So he goes for Rock Slide as I switch into a Moongus. I just sack a Moongus because I can't switch into Aerodactyl as I go into Kyurem Black, and I think you gotta go for Outrage, yeah. So he shows off the Sash, which I knew he had, but I couldn't do anything about, and he goes for Rock Slide and he kills Kyurem Black. So then I go into Raikou because, again, I'm assuming that he's max speed Aerodactyl, and he outspeeds my Swallow. So Raikou dies, and then I go into Swallow again, and I actually outspeed him, which means that he is Adamant Nature, and I should have Boom Bursted him earlier, because if I Boom Bursted him earlier, man, I still had Raikou to switch out. Like, if I Boom Bursted Aerodactyl earlier, I went into Kyurem Black, and then I pressed Outrage, and then Aerodactyl died without a doubt. And then I kept clicking Outrage until I got confused, and then when I got confused, I switched into Raikou. Raikou could die, get a kill, it doesn't matter, and then I switched back into Kyurem, and then I just win the game. But he was not max speed on Aerodactyl, he was Adamant. I have no idea why he was Adamant. He chose not to speed creep Swallow, and I don't know why. Swallow ran his team a new one, and he just didn't go in. He just didn't run max speed on Aerodactyl. I really don't know why he did not run max speed on Aerodactyl, but that was the play that lost me the game without a doubt. If I Boom Bursted Aerodactyl and just sacked Swallow, I probably would have won this game, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, it really came down to on what turn I got confused with Kyurem, or like something like that. But I really think that if Kyurem clicked Outrage twice and then got confused, I could have switched into Raikou, let it die, switched in Kyurem again, and then clicked Outrage 2 more times and won the game. So I feel like I played really well this game. As I go for Boom Burst, and he just knocks off and kills me. That Serena was like especially defensive Assault Vest, which is really unfortunate, but I feel like I played really well this game. I had a really, really tough matchup against his team. He had so many things that I had to try and prep for that I just, I don't know. I feel like I did the best I could this game, to be honest, and I still lost 3-0. So we're currently 0-2 in the league with just an awful differential. So we're gonna have to try and get that back in week 3. Yeah, thank you guys for watching the video, and have a nice day.